Yo, welcome to From the Heart for the Heart. Glad to be back with you guys. Thanks you for tuning in. I'm one of your hosts, Mike, and you might notice that things are looking different. Down there in the corner is Woody. We brought some friends along to be co-hosts with us for the revamped part of From the Heart for the Heart. Woody, who are these people?
Huh?
Who are these people?
Well, I'm Brandon. I'm Woody. I forgot how to do this. I'm sorry. This is crazy. No, I'm kidding. Um, we have two new hosts with us. We decided to switch things up. We told you guys about a week and a half ago from when we recorded this that we were revamping the show. So we wanted to bring different outlooks to the conversations that we're having. So we have two friends with us, Frankie. And if you actually pay attention to, if you actually follow us in the podcast world, you will recognize Frankie because we have been on the Hyperion Review several times, even before Frankie started the show. And you've seen me on the live show once, and I'm in the comments all the time. And Mike is supposed to be on a show as well, too, coming up here soon. But yeah, so we have Frankie with us, and then Jaron. And Jaron, if you know Mike and myself growing up, you'll know Jaron as well, too. Someone we grew up with, someone from our hometown. He's both two opinionated guys, two smart guys, two guys with two different views. I won't, introduce them too much. I'll let them kind of take the show, kind of let them take the spotlight and introduce themselves and what they're going to bring to the podcast. But we're excited to have you guys. This is going to be a fun season. We've already started talking amongst ourselves, and it's been crazy so far. So without further ado, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. You guys have the floor. Whoever wants to go first.
Go, Frank.
All right. So as Brandon or Woody said, my name is Frankie. I am a conservative, viewed, like-minded person. And yes, I am a Trump supporter.
Wow.
Okay. I will bring that out the gate. I am open book. I'm also a married man, father of two. And with that, also, I do have a Christian view on this world as I see forth. To squash anybody, I am not like any other Trump supporter. I am very open-minded, but very firm in my beliefs. And I can tell you right now, no, I am not a racist. As a Trump supporter, they get that, so I have to say it. So let's start off with that.
I love how he started off with saying, I'm a Trump supporter, and then I'm a father second. I just wanted to point that out. He just set the tone for Trump first, wife second.
Hey, I'm just waiting for 2024, baby.
He's like, I'm a Trump supporter, but I've got a family. I'm
He's
not
got
you got to believe me. I'm not
Yes.
I love it. For you guys that are listening, Frankie has a Genius shirt on.
Yes.
So
I want to bring to the fact that, yes, I am the genius of the show. So, I had to point that out.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Is there a mute button?
Right off the gate.
Another Caucasian fellow.
With a nice beard.
Which one? Hey.
You, sir.
I'm Jaron Olson. I'm originally from Southside Chicago, not actually too far from where Woody lives now in Kankakee. I'm a little further north out of Beecher. Actually born in Chicago Heights, but grew up down in Marion for the most part from, I think like 6 till after we graduated. I'm going to be incredibly frustrating because I identify loosely as a libertarian, but that means something different to everybody. I'm a big life, liberty, and happiness guy, and I think everybody has the right to pursue that in whatever way benefits them, as long as it's not harming anybody else. But I'm pretty open-minded, so there's a lot of times where there's certain things like 2A I'm pretty set in stone about, but for the most part, you may hear me work through ideas, just talking with you guys, hear something new. But I'll probably frustrate everybody. I'm very socially liberal, but very fiscally conservative. Foreign policy-wise, I'm pretty per case. I'm not an isolationist, but I'm definitely a non-interventionist. So I'll be all over the place for topics. I don't expect necessarily anything out of me. I might surprise some people.
What he's pretty much trying to say is that season 2 or the new from the heart for the heart. I'm sorry, guys. I'm pulling up my information for tonight as we're talking, but it's gonna be a whole lot different than what we came up with. Mike and I, when we first started it, coming up on a year, well, a little less than a year, we were, if you guys remember, mindsets were a little bit different. We were a lot more angry. The conversation was more so a resistance type conversation, against white supremacy, straight up. And now that it's changed, we, no offense, Frankie knocked Trump's ass out of the White House, changed the residency. But in all reality, what do you say?
All offense.
Right. But no, in reality, it's time to have a different conversation. It's time to bring together 4 different minds, because even though me and Mike agree, that's just really for the camera, because we don't agree hardly ever. We never have. But really, no, it's 4 different minds, coming together, having conversations, figuring out how we can at least discuss what's going on in the country and in the world, and do it civilly, have fun, talk crap, and just continue to grow and make it from the heart, for your heart. So without further ado, we're going to jump into tonight's topic, which is going to be, we're going to dive into cancel culture, which is something that's been on everybody's mind lately, on the tip of everybody's tongues. Everything's getting canceled left and right on both sides of the line. So we're going to dive into that. We want to see what everyone thinks, what everyone has to say, what's too much, what's the right amount. So you guys stay tuned, and it's going to be fun. And we're back. Welcome back to From the Heart for the Heart. Brandon back with all my co-hosts, Michael, Jaron, Frankie, our first episode, and we're going to jump into cancel culture tonight, guys. And we were just talking about it, and like we called the pre-production or whatever. There's so much going on, and there's been so much going on for a while where everyone's in their feelings. And it's been interesting because you have things that are happening now, or things that happen in the moment, causing people to be canceled, but then you are pulling from years, decades, things that some of us didn't even know existed, and you're canceling that as well too. So, and everyone, everyone has a feeling on it. So, and I know everyone has their own particular, I guess, topic, or something that they feel a certain way about. But we're going to dive into a couple of them tonight, talk about where we're at as a society with it. So I'll let whoever wants to jump in first with their passionate, canceled part of culture first, and we'll dive into it. So, Frankie, I'll let you go first since you're laughing.
It's funny because truthfully, I'm passionate about all of it, but I am totally against it. All right. There is nothing that you could cancel that I'm going to be for. I know that's starting off straight off blunt, but that's my opinions to
because of freedom of speech.
Correct. It is a freedom of speech. Well, it's more than that, though. To me, a forgotten history is more likely going to be repeatable history. All right. These are stuff that you shouldn't cancel, because instead they should be talked about. They were probably right in their time frame that they were created, but as in today's society, they're no longer acceptable. So instead of canceling it and being forgotten completely, what we should do is be talking about it and learning from it.
I just had a thought coming off that, and it's like I'll use, for instance, the Dr. Seuss stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Into it later. Like, if you named me your top 3 Dr. Seuss books, top 5 Dr. Seuss books, top 10 Dr. Seuss books, is none of the books that just got canceled.
No, actually,
I'm willing to bet every single one of you.
No, actually, out of all the ones they canceled, and truthfully, it's the own company that canceled it. So
right, exactly.
I don't know why people are getting up in arms about it. But I think out of all 3 or 4 that they canceled, I think it may be 5. 6. I think I only read 1.
6, yes.
Yeah, and that was the zoo one.
Okay.
And that was the only one. The other ones I'd never heard of.
None. So it's like, for you, when you're saying like there's certain things that there's the forgotten history aspect of it, but for something that for our generation we didn't know about,
Correct.
like canceling it, and maybe this is like for me and Michael and I's sake, canceling is letting me know that this shit really shouldn't be out here. You know, that's the way I kind of view it. You know, for this particular one,
I am with Frankie on this one because if you want to read it, it should be readily available. I mean, we were in school reading How to Kill a Mockingbird, and just racist. There was racist undertones and racist shit in it that we read all in high school. I mean, if you want your kid to read that, more power to you. But like you said, I've never heard of any of those books. They were probably buried deep underneath somewhere, and somebody got wind of them being canceled, and they just wanted to get upset over something.
Yeah. I mean, to me, take one of the greatest authors in American literature, Mark Twain. I mean, if you really want to cancel, his books are filled with the literature of the time.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm thinking of the Family Guy episode.
but at the same time, you cannot deny his literature genius. Those stories, now, yes, they're product of their times, but those stories have great meanings behind them. You know, Tom Sawyer's all about hard work. I mean, Huckleberry Finn, he's traveling with a runaway slave. You know?
So that's my part of my biggest problem with cancel culture is I think it's turned into a cheap scapegoat to not actually have an honest discussion about what the problem is. It's an easy way to label something, get your credit for it, and then move on without actually, because I'm actually very pro reading To Kill a Mockingbird in high schools because I don't remember hardly any of the books at all that we read. I spark noted half of them. That one I will never forget because of how uncomfortable it made me reading it. And it makes you actually reflect on why it made you uncomfortable, especially growing up in like Southern Illinois. I think it's really important to, even as a class, because reading that by yourself and having your own ideas with it may not actually clock you the same as reading it with a class and going into it and being like, oh, wait, no, none of this is really okay. And you should feel really guilty with the way the trial goes. And it's something that actually stuck with me compared to so many other things. So writing off some of these books just because they're not necessarily appropriate today by society's Twitter standards is just a bizarre way to neglect the entire arguments half the time, and I don't think you get anywhere.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. To me, canceling is just the easy scapegoat of not dealing with the problems at hand, you know. And let's talk about something else. You know, you've got the cancellation, the destroying of, like, Robert E. Lee's statue because he was a Confederate general, you know.
So we get to the good part.
Okay. I was going to say that you almost shut down the whole argument, Jeremy, with what you said until you brought that up. But go ahead.
All right. So, like I said, I'll bring on further.
My kids were actually descendants of Robert E. Lee through mom's side.
Okay. And, all right. Then if you know the history and everything else, that's good. A forgotten history is deemed to repeat itself. I keep saying that. But with Robert E. Lee, he has a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because he was a Confederate general. Everybody forgets. Abraham Lincoln went to him first and asked him, hey, will you be the general of the Union Army? And he straight up said no. He goes, no, I have to stick with my home state. They seceded, so I'm going to have to secede because that's my home state. But with that, they forget about his accolades that he's actually had in his lifetime. I mean, he actually became president of the college, Washington College, and now it's Washington Lee. And then also, everybody forgets, he was still a war hero before the Civil War for the American-Spanish War, or Spanish-American War. All right? He was one of the first Yeah, he was one of the first people to graduate from West Point without any demerits, which is very, very hard. You know, yes, he has this stain of being a Confederate general, and we're not going to get a debate about the Civil War because, believe me, we'll be out here for hours. But yeah, but going and tearing down his statues because of one thing, like, I mean, I can tell you,
I'm not one to tear down statues, but I do believe that there's a time and place for them. Put it in a museum. It shouldn't be on federal grounds. Any federal or state ground, I don't think that it should be in. But I mean, I agree. We need to know about this history, you know, so that we don't repeat it. But it shouldn't just be like, bam, right in the middle of town. Like,
see, I'm the opposite. So I feel like that it shouldn't be on any public ground because that's where the taxpayers' dollars go to.
Right.
So I can understand people not wanting to maintain or see that statue in the public square all the time.
mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, though, Frankie. And the whole reason with this is you're talking about the forgotten history is repeated history. And this is my argument because we're still knowing each other.
Yeah.
The history of the Confederacy after the Civil War is a fabricated history.
Absolutely right.
Well,
yes.
So, and the whole reason these statues were put up, a lot of them, it wasn't in 1870. It was in 1930s and 40s and 50s to say "F you" to the Civil Rights Movement. You know, and
Yeah, you're absolutely. I see exactly what you're saying, and yes, they put up.
What makes it a forgotten history?
Yes, I see exactly what you're going with, and a lot of these statues, and I'm not saying destroy every single one was made with the right
in the museum, but that's because I'm black.
Yeah,
Well, that's a personal not want to see that, but you can't get rid of it because then it is a forgotten history, but it needs to be in a different setting.
But see, now we're getting to the point where that's not even acceptable because Teddy Roosevelt is now being petitioned to be taken down from in front of the Museum of Natural History. He's the one that started the entire National Park Service.
Right.
He was all about
Exactly.
conservation. You can have as many beefs as you want. If there's anywhere that it does belong, that's there.
Right.
So we are getting to a point where it's getting... we're trying to rewrite history, and part of it is we're trying to correct history because, like you said, there's a lot of fabricated and or altered alternative facts, you know, whatever you want to call it. The victors get to write the history books, and if we're teaching our own history to our kids in schools, we're not teaching it from a probably realistic point of view a lot of times because the truth is ugly and a lot of the world's not a beautiful place. It's never been, and we're going to continue to have struggle going forward. But even Walter von Braun, he's one of my favorites to talk about. I mean, he got us to the moon, certified Nazi, not sympathizer, certified Nazi.
Yep.
So we have to reach to the point where we have to either separate the accolades from the individuals, or we're going to scrap a few 100,000 years to fit a more comfortable narrative.
I feel like we need to talk about what is, because Frankie brought up what is cancel culture, but I think cancel culture is a multifaceted thing. There's people, like, if somebody does something and they know better. Like if we say now, hey, if you do this, this is bad, and you know that, and then you continue to do it, you should be able to say what you want, but there are consequences for your speech, for what you say. Rather it be from your employer, society. If you're a celebrity and society's like, well, we don't want to buy your stuff anymore, that's a consequence of you saying whatever you said.
If you're at a gas station with a guy with a twisted tea can, I mean,
No, you're absolutely right. So I see this meme that goes around on Facebook about conservatives that are totally against cancel culture, yet we were the ones that were burning our Nikes. We were boycotting the NFL.
Good point.
And everything else. I do want to point out, there's a difference between canceling something and boycotting it. All right? I just want to point that out. Canceling means you do away with it completely.
Ban until you meet my demands. I would say. You know what I mean?
Boycott is when you want to see change, I think.
Exactly.
And where cancel culture is when you just want to, like,
Completely get rid of it.
It's a scoring
Exactly.
points thing. It's turning
Yeah,
into.
if you earn your Nikes, bro, you're not.
I'm an Asics fan, so I mean, to me,
But I get your point.
I think that line is very thin, to be honest,
It can be. For sure.
between boycotting and canceling.
Depends on what you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's the
So-
situation.
but you don't see people going around saying, "Hey, the NASCAR needs to go away." You know,
They just got to
because they changed their rules. Because they changed their rules.
But
Yeah.
you do see people who are still to this day saying Colin Kaepernick, even though they say he's right, they say he needs to go away because of what he did.
Yeah, but he's not. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not playing football anymore, but he's still getting into camps and he's still getting tryouts. Whereas, like,
Well,
Gina,
he had
the
that
Gina
one
lady,
tryout.
she's probably done.
And we actually kind of talked about this on the last season where
Endorsements.
something with that deal, the settlement
Mm-hmm.
made with the NFL, you know, that we know nothing about.
Signed an NDA, yeah.
You know, so that I know that has, and then he had that one tryout that was a fiasco from a PR standpoint. However, whichever side of the line you look at it, none of us like the way that went down.
No.
You know, and then, excuse me, but so I don't know. As far as it goes with Kaepernick, that's a weird situation now.
That's
It really is, and that snowballed.
I think so. To Mike's point, it is a thin line because it's tough. There's some people that absolutely deserve it, and that's where this cancel cult. We had this conversation with the cancel culture versus censorship, because I think, especially, I'm a big sticks and stones kind of person. Sticks and stones will break your bones, but words, you just sometimes got to get up, and grow up, and go move on. I know there's, nice. I know there's, different situations, but a lot of this stuff from the cancel culture that came from the Me Too movement and stuff like that, it's been a long time coming. These guys needed, there's a secret casting couch industry that needed to be exposed, needed to go, and regardless of how iconic some of these people are, they need to be seen for how they are. And to me, that's a very big difference than the way the cancel culture is now being weaponized to not say, we don't like the way you're operating, so we're going to go after your sponsors. We're going to make sure that you get canceled over a tweet, even if it's something that's not even that inflammatory. So it is a fine line, and there's certain people who do deserve it, but that's where, Frankie's right, the boycotting is a different animal than the actual cancel culture, and we can't seem to find the happy medium as a society right now of where that's at.
I mean, we can't find it. I as a people, with some things though too. Mike and I talk about this all the time. Every time, Frankie, we come on your show, we come to this conversation with needing change. But is change for real, or is it for a fad, or is it in the moment, with certain situations? And then we're talking about it as far as with this here. It's like, what's the guy's name, Mike, the country singer?
Morgan Wallen. Let's dive into that. Smooth transition, Woody. Thank you.
I know.
That's what he does.
Exactly.
Said to his friend the N-word because he was drunk. And when you're drunk, you say what you're usually comfortable saying. And this isn't the first time that Morgan Wallen has gotten in trouble for saying something that he shouldn't have said. And finally, it was recorded by his neighbor of him saying it. And black people don't listen to country music. Let's just put that. Majority of black people don't listen to country music like that. So, the Country Music Awards canceled him. We didn't have any power over that. The radio stations canceled him. We don't have any power over that. Like,
it's funny because we as a society are starting to get offended for other people.
yeah,
Right.
I agree with that too.
Right.
Like I was listening to a comedian and they were kind of making fun of or laughing with this blind guy, and this lady in the back got offended from it. When which she had nothing to do with. The blind guy actually straight up said, "No, I'm happy that you are acknowledging me because most people in shows don't even acknowledge me." You know, he was having fun, day of his life, really. But yet the lady in the back was like, "I'm offended because he's blinded and you're making fun of him." Like, really? What does this guy do with you anyways? Mm-hmm. You know? So,
be an ally.
Yeah, she was, but at the same time, it wasn't needed.
You know, I'm being half funny, you know, but like that was her. It's like the God, who was it? Coca-Cola with their attempt at, is that what you're drinking?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Wow. Gotta be less white.
Try to be.
Thanks, Coke. But it was like their diversity training.
Oh gosh.
Now, as someone who I work, you know, for a corporate company, and I'm the diversity, inclusion, and equity captain for my district, so I deal with this kind of thing. That was like a very, 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 very poor attempt at telling people to be more open with diversity and inclusion and be more aware of just people around. That's really what
the way they did it, and
it was trash.
It was basically reverse racism at its finest.
You know what I mean? It was trash.
Oh,
it was.
I have to get into that at another side. Reverse racism word.
It was like
the way they worded it. It made it seem like the way to be less white was be less offensive. You know, not all white people are offensive.
No. To target somebody on the race, you're going to put a whole group of people on the defensive immediately, and they're not going to hear anything you're saying. They're not going to get any further. They're going to feel attacked and not open.
Mike, if we had a conversation, the four of us right now, talking about something race-related, and...
Somebody got a text message.
Yep, sorry. And I said... And I said white people, right? Like... You guys know I'm not talking about you guys, obviously, but there would, even if it's for a split second, you're going to feel some kind of way. You know what I mean? Because me saying it that way is grouping you in with these assholes that I'm really talking about. You know, so
but it's back to Morgan Wallen. That's
Tangent.
My stuff is just upgrading now by itself. I mean, he got canceled, and it's not that the black community was the one leading this. It was allies. You know, we're like, me and Woody had this conversation before. I know that you guys say it in your car. Like, it's nothing new to me. Like, when nobody's around, you're just like, turn the music up. You're gonna, you know. But for people to make it for him,
say it.
I mean, he's apologizing and whatnot. He did say something wrong, and we didn't have any control over that. If you want to continue to listen to this music, go ahead, continue to do that. But don't try and say he didn't say it out of a place of hate. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't say it.
Well, here's the flip to it, though. Like, whether it's cancel culture or not, this is all the freedom of speech, but not freedom from consequences conversation. This is what this all is. And you have a lot of the same group of people who showed a frustration for this, and that's why I brought this up. 2 weeks before, when the dude got smacked with a twisted T for saying the same word. Everybody
was like, yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, so I'm going to say it, the white people aspect of it, you know, who were under that tent, who agreed with the twisted T thing, all of a sudden it's an issue. You know.
Well, go ahead, Jaron.
Yeah. That's one of those where it's like, it's such an extreme case because, I mean, he was obviously not being playful, and that was a hard ER more than once.
Right.
So, and, like, as personally, like I said, I think words, you should never strike anybody over words. So I don't always like the freedom of speech, freedom of choice isn't without freedom of consequence, but this is also reality. Right. And that's what it is. When you say something that inflammatory, it's kind of like, can Klans members legally hold rallies on public grounds or college campuses? Yes. Do they need security? Yes, I would probably highly recommend it because should you be attacked for what you're saying? No, I will almost never condone that. But this is reality, and you're going to get actual emotions out of people with what you're doing. So you have to, whether you are drunk or not, with situations like that, and even the Dr. Seuss thing where his brand canceled him, or his label, where Dr. Seuss, the own company, took the book off the market.
Right.
Getting ahead of the curve because they can already see the way society's trending is one thing. It's completely different when it's being weaponized against individuals with a political motivation, which I think now that people have seen it's a useful tool that they can wield, you're starting to see more and more. So now the lines are starting to blur as to, are we going after people who need to be canceled? Or are we going after people who you don't like their last tweet? Because they're very, very different things.
Right.
Well, another great segue into the next topic. Go ahead and bring up your lady friend from the Mandalorian, Frankie, because I mean that was just a great segue.
Recently, Gina Serrano recently got fired for a tweet that she posted on Twitter. The full tweet is: Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people don't realize that they get into this point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, and the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. That's how is that different from any? Sorry, I cannot speak today. How is that any different from hating someone from their political views? And since then, Disney has fired her. If you don't know, she was in the Mandalorian series, and she used to be an MMA fighter or something too. But basically, since that tweet, she has been fully canceled. To me, I don't see the...
Not fully. I just want to throw in she's working with Ben Shapiro, so she's not fully canceled.
Oh, so she got a job then.
Something like that.
Well, so her career was ended. She was no longer going to be an actress. Yeah, she's not. Yeah, she didn't say anything fully bad enough to be gone.
Then you know it.
But still, to have your career taken away from you.
But the reason why is because a lot of people think that she was making, because they heard Nazis and Jews, that she was making comparison of the Holocaust to her situation of being a conservative. Which was not. If you read the actual tweet, she's bringing out the facts that the government, Nazi Germany's government at the time, made the citizens hate each other.
Right.
And that's what she sees as today. Right. Today, if you go down the streets, you can be fearful if you're a conservative because we were the ones that stormed the Capitol. We were the ones that wanted to overthrow the election. So now people hate us, you know? Mm-hmm. And
not just now.
It was matter. You know,
but I want to add on to that because I don't agree that she should be canceled strictly for that one tweet. But I will say that she was on thin ice. You know,
she was on thin ice already.
Yeah, that's why she was on thin ice for previous things, and it was just like, dude, like we told you, and you're like on the line right now with just this statement that you're saying right now, even though we told you like don't shake the boat, don't flood the boat or whatever, and she's like playing with fire.
All right, so let's talk hypotheticals real quick. All right, I'll say all four of us has a job, right? I'm assuming, assuming does, but all four of us has a job.
Yeah, well, and that's what you're assuming.
Just my OnlyFans.
I do protests on my days off. Thank you.
I'm a cam guy, remember?
Yeah.
But say our bosses see a tweet, and I'll take Brandon. He's got a Michigan sweatshirt on, and his boss comes to him and says, "Brandon, come see me in my office. I saw you down the street and you're having Michigan. That does not reflect our company. We're going to have to let you go." Is that right?
Huh?
Is that right? How's it? Okay.
That is a lawsuit. I mean, if it's in the handbook that, I don't want to go that far. but hypotheticals. But see, I'm going to argue that how is it offensive to somebody else? That's where my argument would be for something like that. You know, whether I'm fired or not, whether it ends up being that case or not, that's what I would ask: is how would that be offensive to somebody else?
Because he was an Ohio State fan.
Oh, then see ya. But no, in reality, I mean, that's not a man.
I'm
But
not.
you can discriminate against me
I'm a federal employee.
because of my whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm a federal employee. There are things I can't do.
No, as federal employee, that's on the contracts and
Yeah.
I mean,
your handbooks and stuff like that.
a Michigan hoodie. You know, now because of my job, I could wear an NFL, you know,
Yeah.
apparel. But I couldn't wear anything like that either because of so I get fired just because.
But all right,
I'm gonna actually stick up for conservatives on this one because so I think with what probably drives Frankie nuts the most is kind of what I mentioned earlier with the Pedro Pascal. yeah. Oh, it's gonna happen. The Pedro Pascal tweet. It'd be one thing if in the handbook it said, "Everybody, we are Disney. We
Right.
do movies, mostly kid friendly, no politics, or you're out." But that's
Right.
not the game we're playing at. Now we're at the point where there's an accepted train of thought that you're allowed to express openly, and then there's thought that you're not, even if it's not provoking violence or vile. In this case, she's actually telling people, hey, you know, whatever media you're watching or, you know, whatever gets you excited during the day, go outside, talk to your neighbor. Like, remember, we're all pretty much, I mean, we can be friends. I mean, we're not all that different if you just have a beer with somebody.
I think kind of what's happened too is that, and this isn't your fault, Frankie, as a Trump supporter, but some of the Trump supporters that are way down the line from you is so. And I'll use this as an example. Like, I personally wouldn't think that, no, Frankie, you shouldn't be fired for being a Trump supporter, nothing like that. But if you supported the Proud Boys, or if you are a Proud Boy or an Oath Keeper or a 3%er or something, you know, that would be more along, not even necessarily getting fired, you know, but something that would be, what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't know, but take a second look at you, I guess. Because, go ahead.
No,
I'll use a better example of someone that's a threat to me, like a Klansman. Something like that. Something that will be a threat to his ideology is a threat to my existence. Whether he's spouting it or not.
But see, conservatives now are facing it to an extent where, like you said, you know Frankie. And so you know that he's not a racist and he's not, you know, psycho cult Trump supporter. He'd throw you to the wolves to get his president in there. But it seems like a lot of the cancel culture, and like I said, the Me Too stuff seems to be hitting the left harder, but the actual speech-driven cancel culture seems to be going very, very one direction in the right because of the culture of the media, of Hollywood, in these, and really even like the higher learning institutions, the colleges and stuff like that. It's
but that's always been that way.
No, it's gotten way more extreme in the recent decade.
Let me put it this way. Well, the civil rights movement in the 60s, you know, and which led into the free love movement, you know, after that. That's college campuses. That's young kids. You know, the freedom riders that weren't black were white college kids.
So you mentioned that it was that like in the 70s, 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, it was all, you know, free love, free speech, anti-Vietnam. And now the left is canceling speakers on campuses. They're controlling the speech. They're, you know, really big in science with, you know, climate, but they pick and choose when it comes to biology. There's this new standard of norms that we seem to be putting in place slowly and are weeding out even people that shouldn't be weeded out because we're falling victim to the old shit we used to do where we lump an entire group of people together. And they're very different.
Do you think, question this for all you guys, and especially more so for you, Jaron, and you, Frankie, just because you guys don't lean so far as left as Mike and I do, but do you think it's a retaliation for kind of the way we perceive the right?
I'm sure.
And then
In a way, yes.
in the
I'm
last
sure.
2-3 years, you know, because
I mean-
it was a point, Frankie, where like it seemed like to me, it seemed like as we got through the presidency, it couldn't have got any more wild. Now I won't say worse, just it couldn't have got more wild than I thought it would have gotten the day before. You know, like
Well, and truthfully, if anything, a lot of people point out that we're more divided today than we have ever probably have been, which I disagree and say no. The Civil War,
With that.
yeah, the Civil War were very,
here and you got to sit here, and like you said, we had a civil war.
yeah, but politically wise, yes, we are very, very divided. You know, it's like I said before, I'm a Trump supporter. I really don't go out and freely say that much anymore because I understand the reputation that a lot of Trump supporters get. You know, because there are some far right radicals that are giving conservatives bad names.
Right.
Just like there are some far left liberals that are giving liberals some bad names, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, though, I feel like that our freedom of speech is starting to get trampled on because we can no longer say how we feel anymore. Because everybody's afraid to offend somebody nowadays. Mm-hmm. And once you start offending somebody, like back when I was growing up, and I'm older than all three of y'all, but not much older, but like in the 90s, you know, I remember when somebody's like, hey, you have opinions, everybody has opinions. You know, that's their opinion, you know?
Opinions are like assholes. They're
exactly.
So
but nowadays, we can't even have our own opinion because we're afraid that we're going to get canceled ourselves.
And I think that's why I kind of have sympathy with what he's saying, because as not a conservative, I also now shut the fuck up unless I am either really heavily been drinking and like people are really going into politics, or I just don't bother because I've been labeled, I mean, just right off the bat, a couple weeks ago, met a new guy at the soccer bar, and we're talking, having a good time, hanging out all day, and then something happened. He asked if I voted for Joe Biden, and I probably rolled my eyes so far in the back of my head and said no, and he said, oh, you're a piece of shit racist. And I'm like, we've been hanging out for hours. I voted third party. Like, I have my own reasons for not voting Joe Biden. We just burned our country for the better part of the last year because of the absolute necessity of police reform. Joe Biden wrote the 96 crime bill and brags about it. Mm-hmm. The second biggest problem is our student loan inflation right now. They make more off student loans than they do off house mortgages nationally. That's a problem. He's one of 8 Democrats that broke ranks and voted with Republicans to pass the predatory student loan bill. There's other reasons besides you hate an entire race of people. And he was a white guy. So, and then the other thing, he saw the tattoo on my leg. I have the Gadsden flag tattooed on the side of my leg with a Colonial flintlock pistol holstered in it. He saw the Gadsden flag, which stands for live free or die. Mm-hmm. One of the most, if you can't even unite around the American flag, that should be the one thing that we all can get. Right. Now because he doesn't know what the Gadsden flag is, he immediately saw it on me and said, oh, you must be a racist, when that's not at all what that stands for. And definitely, I mean, it's just these preconceived notions that now I'm to the point where I don't really want to have a conversation with somebody that I don't personally know because of how quickly it just gets vile. And once they throw the racist card at you or anything else, like, I remember I was talking to a guy at Lowe's and we were talking about it, and he was an old country boy. And he was like, oh, who'd you vote for? And I said, I voted third party Gary Johnson. And he was like, oh, you're just a little what do you call me? Something mouth breathing shrimp dick. And I would 100% take that over racist all day. I felt infinitely less uncomfortable laughing about being called a shrimp dick than immediately being put on the defensive. I mean, because after that, I laughed about it. We had a conversation with the other guy. I tried to get out of that conversation so quickly I was uncomfortable. So there is this more, there's way more of an intensity coming from somebody on the left than there is on the right when it comes to their perceived vision of your values. And it's getting,
I think
that's why you see the violent clashes now.
I think we talk about politics as we wind down because we are getting to that point. But I think when it comes to politics, especially where we are in politics, there's people who just know what Donald Trump is, and there's nothing that you can say. And there's people on the other side who think that this is what Donald Trump could be, or this is what I see Donald Trump as. I know that's what you see him as. So if you like, people think that I voted for Joe Biden because I like Joe Biden. No,
Nobody did.
That's not why.
We know.
Yeah, I like it was pick one old dude or pick the other old dude. Pick the old dude. Which old dude are you gonna pick? And I picked the other one because of what I've seen over the past 4 years. But I'm not gonna worship the ground that this man walks on, and I'm definitely gonna call him out. And again, I don't even want him to be president. I would have preferred somebody else. Completely.
When Trump was president, I got all my stimulus checks when I was supposed to get them.
Yep.
Still waiting on my
and more. We don't want to talk about it.
we need to vote. Matter of fact, we need to vote, recount those votes again until we get this right, because I need to get paid. But no.
That's how I'm going to convince y'all to come to my side now.
Wow.
No, and it's absolutely right. Like, so I live in Texas, which is very red, but I do live in San Antonio, and most of the big cities in Texas do tend to be a little blue. And, you know, I used to go out with a MAGA hat. I don't anymore, because as soon as I do that, especially here in San Antonio, we have a lot of Hispanics and African Americans that live in our city. I'm going to get called racist, you know? And truly, I'm not racist. They just label me a racist because of what they see and what they perceive so far. So that's the reason why I
need such little information to get there. That's the part that really bothers me.
Well, but I don't know, because I have more information than some of those guys. And it's not that if you were, obviously, Frankie, I know you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, even with you being a Trump supporter, no, you're not racist, but like there's an aspect of it you're gonna put the blinders on for.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because there's some liberals, I have certain views of certain liberals, you know, but I know y'all, so, and that's the whole thing.
I would put the blinders on the shit, you know, that you are like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So and I think, but like you said, Jaron, not everybody's us. You know, we're the people we associate with, who for the most part have sense and have an understanding of the person and not the hat. You know, but or the symbol or whoever you support politically or anything like that. But as I'm sitting here, we're talking about cancel culture and we're talking about, you know, different aspects. It's for me, I'm sitting here looking at there's two sides of it, pulling two sides of it as far as the extremity of it. But then on the other side, like Malcolm X was canceled, Martin Luther King was canceled. I'm sure you guys saw Judas and the Black Messiah. They canceled that motherfucker too. So that's cancel culture when it's done to us. When, you know, Kaepernick is another one that we consider, cancel culture to an extent, you know, but to the flip, like there's Dr. Seuss, which we don't give enough about. You know, and some of these other ones that we've talked about as well, too. So as I'm sitting here getting this new information, there's a tearing in both of it.
Yeah.
Because now I see how I'm not as extreme as all these people, you know, as far as canceling, but I see how my reaction inside to somebody wearing a Trump 2020 shirt, you know, or a MAGA hat sometimes, or my judgment portrayed on them without knowing them isn't always right.
Welcome back, guys. And now we're going to start our new segment that we're going to use to end the end of our debate discussions, our hot topics, and just try and end it on a good note, because this is from the heart for the heart, and we just want to make sure that we end on a good note. And this segment for now is going to be called "And Now Time for the Real Debate." And today is going to be about superheroes. We've each got a 5-man team of superheroes from Marvel and DC that we've put together. And for the last 15 minutes, we're just going to discuss that and see who would win out of all of ours. We might not come to a consensus, but hopefully we can. Hopefully once we eliminate somebody, you know, they'll take somebody else's side, and so on and so forth, and we have a winner. So the new guys, one of the new guys can give. Let's just go two of your people. Let's go two of your people because I don't want to give away your whole team. So I'm gonna start.
Everyone get their first two.
Just two people on your list. It doesn't have to be your top two. Just two people. If you needed these two people to help, if your life depended on it, this is a team that you would potentially build to make sure that you didn't die.
Oh man, I thought we were fighting. I built my team trying to take out your superheroes.
Oh no,
That's pretty much what it is. Like,
okay, cool.
Fight,
it then.
and they kill them, then they're coming after you to kill you.
Yeah, injustice. I'm
don't worry, I got y'all beat anyways. I'll start off with my two first then. All right, so my first two, I have Nightcrawler and Blue Beetle from DC. Nightcrawler from Marvel and Blue Beetle from DC. So yeah, and it's gonna be Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle. All right, really already? Don't worry, I got backup coming.
Oh, okay, you gonna need it because
I'll go next. One because Nightcrawler was okay. It was like, okay, that's not bad. But Blue Beetle, matter of fact, I picture him from the Death of Superman comic getting his head smashed into the carpet. There's that. But
I'm the opposite. I like Blue Beetle as his pick, but Nightcrawler, not.
I love Nightcrawler growing up, so he had to be on my team.
I'm just an X-Men fan, and you'll see why with my list. And the other reason why I want to go is because you said 5-man team. So my two are two of the female superheroes because I had to pick one was Wonder Woman because you need a leader, and I only have one DC. And the second one is Rogue from the X-Men.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I can see. I can get.
Sorry, WWE. Sorry.
Okay.
All right, Jaron.
I'm going to start off. I'm not going to give away my good ones. I'm going to go Deadpool and Doctor Strange off the bat.
Nice.
See, the problem with yours is, Jared, Deadpool will be he's so self-motivated. He'd be like, I don't care about this, and just run off and do his own thing later.
Yeah, that's what you think. Because
Frank reminds me of you for the sports top 5 with all these other top 5s. He just stops right on Jaren's list right away. Here's why your list sucks, bro.
That's what you think. He's not against fighting dirty. He's going to say, fuck this, I'm out, and then stab you in the back. That's what I'm counting on.
Speaking of fighting dirty, I'm going to go ahead with one of my juggernauts. Juggernaut is not on my list. It's just like
that was a good one, though. That was
almost a good segue. That was almost close.
But he is not on my list. I didn't even think about him. I'm going to go with the Phoenix, Jean Grey.
I almost went with her, but she's a villain. You can't.
No. There's a story where she was good. She started out good and then had to it was a story arc. She did turn evil, though.
So I'm going to go with Phoenix. And I will also go with Jaron because I don't want to give away my other ones, Doctor Strange.
Okay, Sources of Strange. Okay.
Than what he was portrayed in the Marvel movies. So just
Phoenix was there too.
Yeah, you didn't. You got to think about that. All right, so reverse order. I'll add 2 more to mine. I'm gonna go Scarlet Witch, and I'm gonna go Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
not bad.
Okay,
that's you got hitters, man.
Yeah, that's heavy hitters. Yeah.
Jared.
Yep. All right, so finally, since you brought out Superman, I got Batman and Adam because Batman's rich. He's going to make a kryptonite nuclear bomb. Adam's going to shrink into a molecule, crawl up that tight little ass, and blow it up. Superman gone.
Whoa.
Gone. Hey, that's all right. They won't be able to drag Superman. There ain't nothing to be left.
You know what? As Mike said before, it's parents that they're gonna let their kids listen to us or watch us. That's on them. So first of all, I will say before anything, Batman's my favorite superhero, and I realized after this DC Universe thing,
they're gonna drag him.
Mike, shut up. You ain't gotta let. or a side, so I don't get dragged. But it wasn't until this DC universe that I realized just how impractical Batman really is when it comes down to it with the Justice League. Like, it took live action to realize. And then what sucked was it was a Ben Affleck.
Martha.
You know, so but he's not on my list though. But anyway, my next two, I'm gonna go with. Let's see, who do I want to use? I use my two females. So Blade, one of mine. I'm gonna use Blade because he's a killer. What are you looking at me like that for?
Go ahead, continue.
And
You're
then Thor.
going to be in last place. That's why.
And Thor.
And who?
Thor.
Thor? Okay, you got heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right,
Because I
guys.
needed that. Because I needed a god. I needed another god. So
All right, y'all really gonna hate me. So I was looking at my list, and if we're doing it team-wise, I needed a leader, and
Okay.
this guy we have seen grown up from little pixie boots to actually the crime fighter he is today. He is great at his craft as a spy when he was a spy, but also he is a leader. Nightwing. All right.
not about him. Okay.
The other one is, I don't care how afraid he is, he's still going to be in the fight, and that's Spider-Man.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Like, we only got one more person, and I think I see how the teams are lining up. I like my team.
You haven't heard my last person yet. You haven't heard my last person.
Yeah, you're gonna need that last person, and they better be immortal, because if you got Spider-Man and Nightwing, your team.
I'm glad you said that.
So go ahead, Frankie, with your last one.
All right, so with my team, I needed a heavy hitter, somebody that is able to pack a punch. My last one, and if y'all don't know who he is, y'all need to look him up because he's fantastic, is Franklin Richards, the son of Reed Richards, the most powerful mutant in the world. Let's just say he's so powerful, he made Galactus his bitch. Can I say that word on here?
We said
You can.
Okay.
I already said Adam was crawling up Superman's ass. So.
Okay, yeah. All right, so yes, he makes Galactus his own little dog, really.
Woody, your
Yes,
final.
Huh? Me?
Your final.
You said someone immortal, someone who's been alive for a long time, someone that's very difficult to kill, and someone that does not give a fuck about killing somebody and walking them dry.
If you say him, I'm gonna. Oh my god.
Who?
If you say Wolverine,
What?
go ahead.
Who?
Wolverine.
Wow. Yeah, him. F you, dude.
The Phoenix could have killed Wolverine. She chose not to. Okay, go ahead, Jaron.
This one was tough for me, and I actually went with my pick because of what Woody said. I wanted to round out with a leader, so I was between Thor and Wonder Woman, and I went Wonder Woman.
You're the
So
leader.
I just want to recap my team real quick and give you my. He's not the leader. I guess Superman is the leader, but I have Scarlet Witch. I have Doctor Strange. I have the Phoenix, Jean Grey. That's 1, 2, 3.
That's tough.
What am I missing?
And then Superman.
That's 4. And Superman. And my 5th, the one that can alter time and space, can make things happen over and over, can change the timeline. The Flash.
I almost had
He
to.
he fucks it up when he does, though.
Yeah, I feel like he always, him and
he-
Spider-Man always end up.
Fucking shit up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll help you out, really.
I don't have killers.
You know, he can go back to the past. He might fuck it up, but he could kill Reed, your dad, and now you're never born again.
I'm doing too much in a battle of just who's the
Yeah,
strongest.
there's 5v5, bro. You gotta
No,
go back
like,
and kill
five
all
v
of them.
five. All powers are on the table.
All right, okay.
Then
I'm
Doctor
going-
Strange just have him running through a time loop.
I'm going to end the debate because I could tell you all right now, Franklin Richards was the one that saved the Avengers from Onslaught comic book. So yes, he has the ability to create dimensions and rewrite reality as you know it.
Well, I don't think we're gonna really.
His head off.
And I pointed this one out just because you said we can't do what's his name from Watchmen,
Dr. Manhattan.
Yes.
Dr. Manhattan. Yeah, I had Manhattan.
So when you said that, I said who's just as powerful and could do the same things as Dr. Manhattan? Franklin Richards.
I think it's because his name's Frank.
Shut up.
That's all it is. I don't believe it. He made up the rest.
He looks like a little kid.
No, look it up. You can look it up. I will share this with y'all.
Oh man.
Oh.
So can we do process of elimination? You know, see whose team did not make it past the first round. And I'm gonna vote Woody.
Bullshit the first week. My team would slice yours up.
Hey, they would.
Who's coming in with kryptonite infused in them by
Who is
Wolverine?
Wolverine? Jean Grey can Phoenix.
Matter of fact, I'll say Wonder Woman on Superman. We won't worry about that. You know, we'll let that one go ahead and handle that self. Thor just throw his hammer at Flash. He's dead. Who do we got left?
You think that hammer is catching up to the
Left. Blade's just waiting.
Blade is so trash.
Blade's just
hey,
waiting. I need killers.
Blade is so trash.
How?
You stick him with a stake and he's dead.
He's not. Because you can't stick him.
Why not? He doesn't have super speed.
You know what? Listen. I've handled your team already. All right, look out your hitters. And then hold on. Can I shut this all down real quick? Because everyone forgot about my X Factor. It's freaking Rogue.
Yeah, she's still mutant abilities, not actual like meta human abilities.
So what are you talking about?
It's not like she could steal Superman's abilities
Why couldn't she?
because he's not a mutant. She steals the X gene, not the
She's
krypton gene.
She can end up taking your personality, you know, as well too. She can end up taking a part of who you actually are. So why wouldn't she be able to take a part of Superman? The whole reason Superman is this way is because
You're right. This is your fight with that.
Because on Krypton, he's not the same as he is.
You're absolutely right. This is what she'll do. She'll touch Superman, and then them too, because they're such good Boy Scouts, because she had acquired his ability. They'll be like, oh, this fighting is beneath us, and then just stop fighting.
But she's part of our team. We're killers.
It's a different mentality.
So, you know.
Okay, my team is actually full of actual killers.
No,
I'm still not convinced I'm Flash, I'm being honest.
Yeah,
Flash is the first one dead, no matter what.
I'll give you Flash.
So you're already down one.
Flash, but Scarlet Witch was about to beat the hell out of Thanos. Like if he didn't do what he did in the movie, if he didn't rain fire down, she's about to end it by herself. Doctor Strange, I mean, he lived through 7 million realities. If that's not a killer, I mean, I don't know what is.
Agreed.
Who cut his head off?
Thor?
Okay.
The hammer.
Continue. I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Breaker.
Okay, but we see when he came back what Thor did. He got his ass handed to him.
What are you talking about? He grabbed the big one. Remember? He told him to take the little one. Remember?
This is getting nowhere, and we only have a minute and a half left.
Actually, guys, I think our audience should have the final vote into
Oh, yeah.
our.
I agree.
Because I didn't even know how to interject with that. I'm like, this is all hypothetical. None of this is, we can't even fight him.
No.
This is going to go on forever.
Yes.
All right, so just to recap as we end in, we'll go over our 5 one more time so everybody knows. Be sure to like and follow the page, guys, From the Heart for the Heart. And just share our stuff. Let us know what you like to see on the show, a topic that you might want to discuss. Reach out to us.
We probably won't take your advice or, listen to it because we do what we want to do anyway. But we appreciate you guys at least giving feedback. So,
And we will drag you in our individual group chat. So
yeah. Yes, you think this show's bad, you guys should see it.
you drag us, we drag you. That's how this works.
So again, my list, top 5 superheroes, Marvel, DC.
Trash.
To defend me, The Flash, Phoenix, aka Jean Grey, Superman, Doctor Strange, and Scarlet Witch.
You know, half the people are going to vote against yours just because they don't like you. I can't wait.
Who's next? Read off your 5.
I got Deadpool, Doctor Strange, Batman, Adam, and Wonder Woman. Heyo.
All right, I have Nightcrawler, Blue Beetle, the Jaime Reyes Nightcrawler, or Blue Beetle, Nightwing, Spider-Man, and Franklin Richards.
And last and definitely not the least list is Wonder Woman, Rogue, Blade, Thor, and then Wolverine.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Be on the watch for our next episode. And just want to thank you to our new co-hosts, Jaren and Frankie, from the Heart for the Heart. It's all with love. At the end of the day,
I'll figure it out.
Always backward.